just a short video. Well, won't be super short. This is pretty live. I don't edit anything, but so this is going to be a video explaining how I set the difficulty, AI difficulty. There's a lot of videos out there how to do it. It's pretty much the same thing, but I do it for each track. I don't just go to one track like Spain, which is what a lot of people will do. Whatever difficulty they get there, they just leave it there for every other track. I go to every single track before I race my career mode race, set the difficulty the same way everyone else does, with a little bit of a twist, I guess. But this is how to do it. You go to, from your main menu, go to Grand Prix. Just select the one track that you're getting ready to race at. This is the track I'm going to race at next is Baku, Azerbaijan. So that's where we're at. I don't like that the track's busy. I got a little late start here. First, you want to, in your career, you want to see you can go ahead and go to the race weekend and look at the weather forecast. If it's going to be full wet race, you want to do this in full wet for sure. Even if it's going to be intermediate, why not just do it in intermediate? You can set the weather however you want for this part. So my race is going to be dry. There's like a slight chance of rain, but it's probably not going to rain. Most likely, if it does, it does. It's going to be intermediate, which is typically okay. It's the full wet you really want to do differently. So I just set the practice off, qualification short. Don't worry about the race because you're only going to do the qualification part, and then set the weather to dry and perfect so it doesn't have a chance. On your multifunction display so this is Azerbaijan, Baku City Circuit. Open the display with the MFD button. You can then navigate up and down. Make sure you have your fresh tires. Run a lap or two. Car setup, usually I leave it on preset 3. There are certain tracks, Monaco, I went here. Canada next week, I'll be going to 4, maybe here, but you can kind of play around with this. I don't do the custom, but most of the time, like 99% of the time, I'm on preset 3 balance default. So for this one, I will leave it there as well. There are some long straights. I mean, I guess you could go. Actually, this is one. Yeah, this is actually one track you should be able to go faster on preset 4 because there's some long straights. There are some tough, tricky turns, but it's not like a Spain or anything where it's too technical. So preset 4 for this track. You can play around with it, see what you run faster in if you want. As you go, you kind of figure out what's going to be best. So I'm going to simulate until it's not too busy on the track, because I don't want to get held up too much. So we'll go to do a flying lap. Now this is going to be live. You just run as fast as you can, the best you can. And then, right now I have this at 75 difficulty. I'm pretty sure that's about where I'm going to be on this track. So we'll just run this. I have flashbacks on, so see right there, it should be faster, but this is my out lap. But anyways, so if I mess up, I'll use a flashback here. I'll just so everyone knows this is very much live. Not the greatest at this game. I'm not running 110 difficulty like you see a lot of guys do on YouTube or anything. I don't stream my career because nobody really wants to watch an entire race of a bunch of flashbacks happening throughout the race. And I'm using the Haas car in my career, so whenever I go to do this, I go ahead and use Haas. Even though I have some upgrades on my car's going to be faster than this on the career, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter. You can really use any car you want to do this. I just choose the car I'm using. And I'll run a lap or two just to kind of see where I'm at, and you want to compare it to your teammate, which my teammate for Haas is Mick Schumacher. This is the part where I gotta get better at. This. Should not have to slow down there. It can be tough sometimes. So running long straights here. A 146.49. I know I can go faster than that. So I'm gonna run another lap. I'm already 2/10 over. Even if they're worn tires, that's okay. Not that worn. You can run a couple of laps and you might want to go back to the garage and put on fresh. But once you get a time, once you feel good, like about a time that you post, you can go ahead and just
lap of fuel remaining.
simulate from there until you get your teammates' time. That was so bad. I lost all my time. I'm gonna backtrack there. Yeah, right there's where I lost it. Okay. So you kind of see what I'm doing here. This is very much live. It's better. This slowed down way too much there. Oh gosh, can you hit the bump? So you see kind of what I'm doing here. This is what I do. Basically, pretty much whatever I'm going to get here is on this lap. I think is what I'm going to probably go with. Gained a lot of time right there somehow. I mean, you don't want get one of the bumps again. You don't want like perfect lap, you just don't want to mess up severely. Obviously, you don't want to hit the wall. That's not gonna do any good. But you don't want a perfect time. You just want a solid, clean lap by your standards, your difficulty. I lost a lot of time there, but that's okay. I'm not gonna worry about that. Damn. That part is so tricky. I do have the full racing line on. I don't really do that for the actual race. I actually had it on for Monaco. I forgot to turn it off. For Monaco, I left it on just because it's Monaco. It would really help, but usually I just do corners only. Okay, so that's pretty solid. Now 145.767. So I'll just go ahead and go to the garage. And then I have a spreadsheet that I typed that in, what I just did. So you go here, you can see my teammates already ran. So I am 9th.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1:45.7.
8/10 faster than Schumacher, so that's going to be like technically 8 points. We'll go ahead and, so you don't even have to do this. I know what he's gonna get. Did he run faster? Just compare it to your teammate, which is what
We're all
everyone
ready for
else
tomorrow's
does.
race, but
I
before
just
we
do it for
begin,
every
let's have a
track.
quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Hamilton,
Yeah,
Bottas, and Max
146.4.
Verstappen.
He actually
Goodbye
did a
for
little
now
bit
then,
faster.
but we're
So
really just getting started.
that's,
Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
8. I'll just say 145.8 for me. Just kind of round it up. So he did 6/10. So technically that would be about 6/10 slower or thereabouts. From there, you want to for each difficulty, or I'm sorry, for each 10th, it's 1 point on the difficulty, up or down, whether he's slower or faster. So he's slower, so technically I would want to raise my difficulty up like 6 points if I want him to be kind of equal with me. I don't really want that because I know in the race you're not going to want that, because in the race they're going to be much more consistent than you. In the race they're going to be better at conserving their tires than you. All the AI are. So I typically find a difficulty that has my teammate around a half a second, 6/10 slower than me. It's totally fine. I beat Alfa Romero, I beat the Williams, and I beat my teammate here. That's pretty good. I was close to Lance Stroll, which is reasonable as well, especially considering my career mode. So here's what I'll do here. I'll kind of take an idea of his time, 146.4. I got my time written down, and I'll just restart. Now, I'm not going to run this time. Now I have my time. I'm not going to worry about running any times, and I'll just simulate this until I see what Schumacher's going to do. And if he should run about the same, so 146.5. So again, that's about 7/10 slower, or 6, yeah, 6, about 8/10 slower. I don't think he's gonna run another one. You don't even have to do all the way. Once you see this one lap here, it's typically all they do. I was surprised he got
And with
another
qualifying
lap.
complete, let's review our top 3 today. Hamilton, Perez,
So he did a little
and
bit more.
Max Verstappen.
146.3.
With qualifying wraps
Again,
up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow.
About
Be sure
4
to join us then
tenths.
for what will no doubt be
So I had a
fantastic race.
145.8. So 146. That's about a little more than 5/10 slower than me as well. We'll just go again. Kind of just restart. I just simulate a few times just to make sure he's gonna run. I don't care about everyone else. I'm just worried about my teammate Schumacher here. What does he do? 146.5. And again, once I have that, you can just back out, hit start, restart again. 146.5. You kind of have an idea what he's gonna do now. And honestly, I think for this, I should have actually set it where I know I would have to change the difficulty. I think where I have it, this is a 75 difficulty. This is about where I'm looking to be. He's going to be about half second, 6/10 slower than me normally. Or not normally, but on this part anyway. That way in the race I have some lead time, some leeway to kind of go over a curb or something. I'm not going to use flashbacks every single curb I hit. I don't need perfect
With qualifying
laps.
finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Hamilton,
He ran a really fast
Verstappen,
lap.
and
This is
Valtteri Bottas.
He ran about the
Well, that
same.
wraps
So
up
3, 4,
qualifying,
3.
but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow
So-
as we head into the Grand Prix.
Okay, so we kind of got an idea what he's going to do. Go to the main menu, and I'll show from here how you set this up from the main menu, if just in case you're not sure how to do that. And again, I do this for every track. So right here on solo, we go to Grand Prix. That's the one I was at, so you just delete that. Start new, F122. If you want to do the F2 cars, which is what I did, which I was here because they didn't have this yet, you do the F2 cars. So I have the difficulty set for F2 cars. Whatever track you're getting ready to race at, you can pick any team. Like I said, I always just pick, well, it's being really slow. Sometimes it does this. I just pick the team I'm using in my career. If you're using my team, again, it doesn't really matter what team you use here, so you can just pick. This is actually the car I'm using because he's my teammate. So Schumacher, then you go to weekend structure, practice off. You want to go to short qualifying. I guess you can go full. It doesn't matter. Short's plenty of time for them to get a lap or two in. You go to your difficulty. So if I needed him to run faster, so he's, let's say a half a second faster than me, or slower. That's 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, now I'm on expert difficulty. This is what I don't want. I don't want expert difficulty. I don't want to jump up to that because that could be a whole different can of worms that I'm opening in the race. Even though he would probably be like right there where my time was. At the very most, I would go here for this race. But like I said, I want him to be about a half second slower. So to be honest, where I have it set, I kind of already knew going into this because I've done this before. I did this. I can't even remember why I was doing this. Why I had this. I think it was another season that I had going for some reason. And this was like the first track that I started doing this at. So this is about where I want. I mean, he's 5/10, 6/10 slower than me at this setting. Just for, let's just go down to 72 and just see. If you want to look at my assist, here's my assist. Off, on, full. Yeah, I do have traction control full. Corners only, as normally. DRS is on, pit assist on, pit release on. I'm not good at holding the clutch. ERS off, I'll do that myself. I also do the, you want to make sure it's dry or whatever so you can do, that's like intermediate, that would be full wet. So if you know the race is going to be intermediate, full wet, come in here and set it like this. Mine's going to be, light cloud, whatever, technically, so we'll go there. It won't change too much. And then you just start it. So I have it at 72 this time. And now I know my time. I don't need to run for myself anymore. I'm just simulating, seeing until I see my teammate get to the time that I want him to be. He's going to be slower this time, obviously, by 2 to 3 tenths, but just to show how it works, that's all I'm doing. The 75 difficulty is actually where I'm gonna stay here. And if I wanted, I guess I could run here on preset 3 just to compare time and see if I would go any faster. I know I wouldn't. I mean I could, I guess, if I ran a quicker, just went faster or whatever, my turn's better, but you don't want a perfect lap. You don't want everything to be perfect dialed in because you're never going to turn perfect laps consistently in a race, especially with traffic and you're pressing, you're doing this and that. So you see here 146, basically 147 flat for Schumacher, which is, and I did a 145.8. So you're talking 1.2
We're all ready for
seconds.
tomorrow's race, but before we begin,
Right?
let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting
Terrible
the
at these
grid.
math
Hamilton,
at this.
Verstappen, and Valtteri Bottas.
So 146.7.
With qualifying complete, all that
That's about a
remains is the
second.
main event. We'll be live and
9
uninterrupted
tenths
for the Grand Prix
slower.
tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
So that's about what we found. So 9 tenths, that's going to put me at, you know, that 79 or 80 difficulty, which is what I was showing. I don't want to go to 80. I don't want to be at expert level. I'm not on this track. So I, at the most would be 79 max. But again, I want him to be about a half second slower or so than me. So we just simulated it again. At this point, I pretty much know where I'm going. So he's like a second slower, 9 tenths. So from 72, you know, raise it up a few points.
And with
now
qualifying
he's-
complete, let's review our top three today. Hamilton, Verstappen, and Valtteri Bottas.
146.8
Goodbye for now
this
then,
time.
but we're really just getting started. Make
So
sure
yeah,
to join
that's
us
like
again
a
for
second.
Lights Out tomorrow.
So we kind of know where we're going here. So he's like a second slower. You don't want to go to advanced when you want to leave. When you want to leave out of here, always go to restart, and it's quicker. If you go to advanced, it's going to take you to the pre-race thing, and it's going to take you longer to get out of there. So just go to restart and then back out from there. So again, he's at 72. He's like a second slower. 9 tenths. We'll just say 9 tenths slower. So you want 9 from 72. That's going to be 81. Not going to do that. So now I know again to Azerbaijan. And at this point, like I said, I already know what I'm going, so I'm not. This is pretty much into this video. So he's 9 tenths slower. That's going to make him 8, 7, 6 tenths slower, right around where I want him. And if I kept simulating at 72, he probably would have got. He might have eventually got something quicker, or he was even a little bit faster. So at 75, he's going to be right around that 6 tenths slower that we were already seeing before. So that's how you do it. Pretty simple. That's where I'm going to go at 75. So when I go into my career now, which I'm getting ready to do actually right now, right there. And you can go to the race weekend without and still change your difficulty. I'm getting ready to show, so you can see the weather for the race ahead of time. That way you kind of know what the weather's going to be like for the race before you do the testing. This video is a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but I just wanted to show the career part just for a second. Alright, so here we are. You can see the race. Practice doesn't matter. Qualifying, it's just going to be dry. You can also go right here. You can see the race. The qualifying doesn't. I mean, the call, I guess it does matter. If it's going to rain in qualifying, you might want to test it out in the rain as well. But then you want to test and dry at the same time. I mean, if you wanted to take a little bit longer, you could do both all at once, and kind of jot that down: difficulty in the wet and the intermediate and dry as you go. So there's a chance of rain, but it's not going to rain, not at this track anyway. So that's when I know what to do there, and then you go back and. Yeah. So from here I can set the difficulty, simulation. I already have it at that 75 that I was at in the main menu, or on here anyway. So I'm ready to go for this race now, and I'm actually getting ready to start that. So do my practice, simulations, a little quick game, and then I'll do my qualifying as usual at normal, and the race after that on the 75 difficulty. That's it for this video. Again, do that for every track as you come to it, and you will enjoy your career, my team, whatever you're doing, that much more. I promise you that. It's you know, we all have difficulties setting different skill levels. You know, Monaco 64 difficulty, Spain 78, Portugal I was somehow really good, 89, 81 Imola, and 84 Bahrain. 75 for this track, so this is one of my lower ones. It's just fast, and there's just some tight turns. It's a tough track because it is so fast, and then you have some tricky parts. So we'll see what happens. But that's it. You just do that for each track as you come, or you can do them all at once if you just want to sit down and actually do that. Have at it. I have a little spreadsheet that I keep track of my times and, you know, the difficulty setting that I will be using for F1 and F2. I'll probably get rid of the F2 difficulty soon, just so I can type in the wet for wet races, just in case. So, alright, thanks for watching. Hopefully this helped. Have a good one.